Hello, and welcome to the greatest show in the history of the internet, The Trading Desk, with me, Joshua Thanos, and my good friend,
Jason Main. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's Thursday. We're back. We're going to talk
It is Thursday. It's my Friday,
things, though. Your Friday. We're going to talk about some things that you put on your wrist. They may or may not keep time. Some valuations.
Yeah.
You know, we may talk watches. It's kind of...
Cameraman just had a seizure over there. You okay, bud? All right.
We get a 911 call
Nice. All right, guys. So, welcome back to another episode of The Trading Desk. We're very excited. Things are happening. Last week's show was very exciting. The clickbait title worked, so we're going for it again. But actually, we have some serious business to talk about. But first, what's on the wrist? J-Bone.
I got back. This is going to be a fantastic... we both realized today this is going to be a fantastic wrist shot series for you guys. Finally got back my Seamaster wave dial, the beautiful even
sexy,
patina on the markers, which I love. This was in for service. It's been gone for basically since I got it. I think I wore it for a week. Didn't keep time and definitely needed some love. And Mike Michaels hooked it up for me. And finally got it back. I think I got it back 2 days ago. I've been wearing it since. It's been great. It's keeping time. And I'm happy. Fall back in love with it. It's got all those.
What's that worth?
I don't know. What are these worth? Right? I would say freshly serviced, maybe $2,000.
Nice.
Open market.
So, like, roughly the same value as this.
Yeah,
as mine.
So, and very easy watch to wear. They're thin. Got some cool history to it. You know, being the original 90s automatic Seamaster. So, it's the Bond watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's respond to some of the... We got some guys in town who want to come check us out. All right. So let me get all the dirt and the fingerprints off my watch. All right, she pretty. So what I have is the now discontinued, which means it's worth much more. Jason, that's the rule of thumb, right? I have the S&P 300. So this is the ceramic, but pre-wave dial now. So now it has a name, pre-wave ceramic, 40.5 millimeter, automatic time date. I love this watch, man. I got this kind of on a whim. I wanted the black dial. This one popped up. I got a good deal. And it, so I think I've mentioned like maybe a couple shows ago that I travel, obviously I travel back and forth between South Florida and Philly, and I tend to leave the watch boxes in Florida, and I usually bring 3 watches with me up to Philly. Well, this week I don't know if I got my days mixed up or whatever, but I woke up on Tuesday morning in a panic because I forgot that I had to catch a flight. So I ended up putting the watch on my wrist, and that's the only watch I've had all week. So I've been wearing this in the office all week. I love this thing, man. I do have to take it off the wrist when I'm typing because I don't want to bang it up, especially in front of a laptop, because my laptop is made of titanium and it will scratch the hell out of my... Oh, geez, if you guys want to see this clasp here. Let's see what kind of damage I've done to this thing. Get a close-up of my clasp.
Those things had a lifetime of...
Oh, geez.
It's almost just as... I'd say it's probably...
Yeah,
that's had a whole life before me.
I'm not delicate with my watches, so you can see. This watch is... How old is this watch?
90s. Early 90s.
Okay, so this watch is like 25 years old. This watch is like 3 years old. You can see how I wear my watches. But most of that is really banging on my laptop, unfortunately. But it'll be easy to refinish. You could probably refinish that watch 4 or 5 times easily before losing shape. And the clasp is not that expensive. It was like $140
they're not bad.
To order a new clasp.
I don't know that I would ever like outwardly replace this. I think I'm
saying for my watch.
This
Yours
is supposed
is
to be destroyed.
It's a vintage,
yeah, I mean
that's nice, man.
It's the Bond watch.
I like it. So there you go. We're
cool.
both wearing different gen Speedmasters. You got the Bond watch, and I have just like a generic, which I think might be collectible one day. Who knows? They only made like 12 billion of these. So
there you go.
All right. So there you go. Wrist shots. Next order of business, Jason.
Yep. What do you want to talk about?
This or that?
We got a this or that this week?
Jason forgot.
Oh, we're doing this?
Wake up, bro.
I was just hoping we were going to admit. Nah, so...
All right. So what's the idea for this or that?
This or that was strictly inspired by the trading desk, an aspect that we talk about a lot, which is, trends. Watches going up, watches coming down. Mm-hmm. So believe it or not, 6 months ago, when you would have looked at those 2 watches, we wouldn't be comparing these 2 watches price-wise.
Let's say a year and a half ago.
Okay. So a year and a half ago, totally different price point.
The AP would have been $15,000, and the Hulk would have been what, like $8,500,
yeah,
$9,000.
maybe $8,300. Yeah, something like that. So figure $8,500.
Right.
So completely different price point. We're in today. We're looking at the same basic price point.
Yeah.
Comparing pre-owned market, secondary market, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, the street value of both these watches is roughly what, 13, 14 grand.
Yeah, the Hulk is on a bubble, obviously, right? It's on a rise. Super popular watch. Everybody wants one.
Right now, it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. So,
well, if it had been discontinued, sorry to interrupt. If it had been discontinued, that would be a $20,000 watch as well.
Of course. So
like we're seeing with what's going on with the Batman.
So in a maybe even as quickly as next week, this doesn't work.
Right.
We don't know because this is coming down. That could further drop, or it could go a little bit back up. So my pick for this or that is the bubble watch. Strictly
the bubble watch.
This is on a bubble.
Understood.
So
yeah.
I think yours is on a downward turn. So this is the hype watch, the hype beast, Supreme Hulk.
Yeah.
I like this watch a lot. I think anytime.
If I were you, I'd buy one.
Anytime we're talking about maybe when they go back down. A Submariner, I think it's a hard piece to beat. Strictly between, and I love the diver. Maybe not that exact iteration of the diver, but I picked this watch because they are what they are right now, and the bubble's crazy for a stainless steel. The Submariner alone, just the black Submariner, is crazy right now. And then when you want the Hulk, it's just, paying 14 grand for a stainless steel Submariner.
I got an idea. Imagine they made my watch, the S&P
in green,
300, in that green. Oh god,
that'd be cool.
Sorry,
that looks a little bit like the Harrods Black Bay, like that vintage diver.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
But Omega, let's think about green, guys. All right, off topic.
Well, I was trying to push Tudor into green Pelagos for.
They don't listen to
Basel.
you.
They didn't like that. They got a cease and assist from. But anyway, so my pick for the this or that, the this watch is this 116710 beautiful Supreme green.
Yeah, so that's a roughly between $13,000 and $14,000 street value watch.
Yeah,
and now you have a watch with so this watch had what, a 17.1 retail originally. Now this is the closed case back. It's the 15710 ST, if I got that right. So closed case back doesn't have exhibition like the new style. The 15703 ST has an exhibition case back. So this was a 17.1 retail, if I'm correct. I think, and it still stands, this is my favorite Audemars. It's very unbelievably wearable. I tend to like a Tang Buckle over a deployant. I like the way that it's like a super high-end Panerai, kind of how I like. That's how I felt about it when I first saw the watch. Sure. You're going to get a higher level of finishing. It sells well below retail value. And it went up for a little while, and we'll talk about in the next segment more about AP. But right now, and this week, essentially, there's been a little bit of a bump down. So this is a watch that probably traded for a long time around 15. Now it's down probably between 13.5 and 14. Everyday wearable watch. This is a watch that I would probably have maybe 5 or 10 straps with. You can put a crocodile leather strap on it, and you can dress it up. On the rubber strap, though, you can wear this, beat the living crap out of it. It's very sturdy. Not like the Chrono, which sometimes needs service. And, for my wrist, about a 7-inch. I mean, this thing wears unbelievably well. And honestly, so you have about a 7.5-inch wrist, Jay? Is that right?
Yeah, 7, somewhere between 7.25 and 7.5
Fits you
inch.
as well. I mean, if you're going to wear this under with a suit, which I don't know if you would or not, it probably would fit just under a cuff. Iconic look from AP, higher level of finishing on the dial, on the movement, the case. I mean, horologically, it's a better watch, right? You have to agree?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I would venture to say that it's a three-hand basic movement from AP. It's going to be on point with a three-hand basic movement from Rolex.
I don't know. I think I disagree. It has a high level of finishing. It has to.
Hands down. Well, finishing work on the case, yes, I'll give you that.
Case and movement as well.
So hands
crack
down,
this thing open for me real quick. Let's look at the
hands
movement.
down, this is going to need service way farther into the future than that will.
For sure. So from a
in terms
hardier
of being
standpoint,
a tank type of watch, the sub is going to be the stronger watch.
A lot of Seikos are the same way.
So I've picked the diver before on the other end of this against other watches. I like the diver a lot. I prefer the exhibition caseback version.
Right. Why is that?
I just think you get, for the same kind of
you're paying more for that though.
Yeah, but so for the same kind of like
for a diver,
style of watch,
yeah,
I prefer to have the newer generation. There's really no way to distinguish the two until you take it off.
Yeah.
But
she's nice. I like
The
it.
best part
Matches
about
what I'm
that
wearing,
watch
too.
that you really don't see, you can't see in photos, is how it sits on the wrist and how flat it wears.
It's super comfortable. But this
If
is a
you're
good
not
watch for.
Right, I always caution people though, if you're not the type of guy that likes to wear a watch tight, that watch needs to be kind of hunkered down a little bit to
Sure.
sit on the wrist the right way.
I got you.
You can't wear it loose, but it is a cool watch.
Well, I'd say this is one of the few watches that wears equally as comfortable on a flat wrist like mine and a round wrist like yours. Like your wrist is a little bit rounder, mine's a little flatter. So like you can wear like bracelet watches are more comfortable for you. For me, if I don't have the balance correct, it sits weird because I have more of a flat wrist
Right.
on top. So this is one of the watches that it sits. Well, what am I doing? I'm doing a strange.
You're doing a wrist shot, but like just holding
Well, I
your
was
hand.
doing my
Yeah,
hand.
I
Was,
don't-
it was not. That's not kosher. So, oh God, it sits equally as comfortable on a flat or a.
Are we running
round wrist.
a poll tonight?
So yeah,
With the
we are
Dustin?
running a poll, and let's go ahead and see the results. I have a feeling I might not lose this one, Jay. Ooh, it's close. This is
There
good,
you
but
go.
you know what? I think there's a reason why it's close. Because both watches are fantastic watches. We didn't pick one that was a serious loser and one that
Yeah.
was a serious winner.
Well, we both
This
like
is a
both
tough-
watches too.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You could have both these watches. This could be a 2-watch collection.
We actually before the show were kind of like each oppositely picking the other watch, and then it kind of turned it out like
Don't
it
lie
was
to
fun.
people.
Well, no, it was funny. It was
Come
like
on.
which
Just
one
because
should
you're
I
losing, Jason.
listen, man. Now, if you just smash them together and get a green on green diver,
Yeah.
There we go.
If you haven't noticed, Jason likes green.
a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so keep voting. At the end of the show, we are going to determine who the winner is, and then the loser will have to pay for drinks to the winner. All right? So if you want Jason to buy me some drinks, and believe me, I can drink, keep
Company
voting for
car.
me. All right, so keep voting this or that. I'm going to keep wearing this AP because I like it. And let's get to the meat of the show. We got about, 3 minutes left? Is that right, guys? All right.
39 minutes.
39 minutes. So, so today we want to talk about kind of what the title is.
Yep.
We want to talk about what's happening, obviously, in the market, but also what's happening with AP because out of the blue. So after SIHH, the 1159 came out. People were making fun of it, but AP's been as hot as it's ever been, right? Royal Oaks are selling over retail. All the models were up. We saw the Offshore is not as hot, but we know because they're a little bit of a larger watch, not as many people can wear them. So they, people picked when they thought of AP, they thought the Royal Oak is the watch to go for. So those watches went berserk.
Right.
So what do we see this week, Jay?
It's interesting because what we saw is very similar to what we saw when Swatch Group started to open up exclusive stores and boutiques.
Okay.
And those of you that are new to the industry, what is that? How long has that been? 7 years now?
Yeah.
6 years, 7 years. Back in the day, you would only be able to go to like a mono brand store like Torno, where I was at the time, or something similar to that, and look at a couple different brands at once. There really wasn't boutique stores. You couldn't just go look at one brand
Right, mono
for the
brand
most
stores,
part.
yeah.
Right, mono brands. So Swatch Group pioneered this concept with the Omega stores and having these boutiques. Breitling followed suit. Now it's commonplace. They're like luxury boutiques. They really don't sell a whole lot of watches out of each store, but it's more of like establishing a presence and a footing. So similar to that, they saw drastic sales drop when they. So what
Swatch
happens
Group
is
did.
right. Swatch Group did. So I think that's what's happening with AP. I think they over exaggerate how many watches they were able to sell on their own versus what multi-brand retailers push
Sure.
on an average. So now you're absorbing all of the production and you're narrowing the channel in which you can sell it.
Right.
So I also think that a lot of the hype behind what AP was doing the last year was to some degree a little bit artificially created on their end in
what
terms
way?
of like marketing dollars and making like the 15202 seem much more desirable in the secondary market than the 15400. And then so we're seeing also stuff coming out of Basel, which kind of put a hold. People are waiting for the 38. I mean, not Basel, SIHH. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like the 38 millimeter chronograph,
Sure.
is slowing down the 41 millimeter.
Sure.
So we're seeing a little bit of that.
You think so?
I think so. I think a lot of people are going to wait and see. I talked a little bit about too some business practice stuff coming out of AP. Like I had some customers tell me that they were approached for like full deposits on watches ahead of time.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So I don't know if it's all necessarily. I don't think any one thing is pointing towards why AP is slowing down, but I think it's kind of a perfect storm. We're seeing a lot of different attribution.
So
I mean, I don't know. What is your take on the situation?
So I mean, do I look at this week's like slowdown, because it's literally like I haven't seen this in
it's
something
literally
like this
been like
happen.
6 days.
Right, but it's just weird. It happened overnight,
Right.
and what I noticed was like, so one of my customers asked me, "Why are you asking so much for that watch?" Which that's an email. That's a question we get all the time, right?
Yeah.
Usually it's a negotiating tactic. So the first thing I do is let me go to Chrono24, eBay, and other dealers that I know who actually own these watches, who buy them for stock to resell them. Let's see what they're asking, right? Because I roughly know what their margins are, so I know what they paid for. And all of a sudden I go to a few sellers that I know who are solid and serious buyers and sellers, and I'm like, all their offshores, they drop their price by like 15 or 20% on the asking price on the website. I'm like, well, what's this all about? So they go to Chrono24 and I see it too. I'm like, holy crap. Like, what's going on? So in about a 6-day period, I've seen not so much for the Royal Oaks. Some of the Royal Oak Chronos drop very, like a smidge. The 15400s have all kind of stayed. It seems like I haven't seen like a downturn on that. But because the other models have dropped, like I'm more hesitant to spend more money on a 15400. Like a month ago, I might spend every last dollar on a 15400. Now I'm like, maybe I'll let it go, because if I own this now and I got 90 days to sell the thing, and in 45 days this turns out to be something real, then we're going to lose money. And that's
in the middle of a turn.
Obviously that's how we're buying watches to sell in the next 90 days. That's kind of
it's all speculation.
Right, but that's how we speculate. Like what's going to happen in the next 90 days? Hopefully, some watches, obviously, if it takes a year to sell a watch, then I have to think about it. All right, I'm not buying it for today's market. I'm buying it for the next year.
Sure.
So I don't know if I have a reason. I like to reserve my judgment. I don't know what's going to happen. I think if you ask some of the guys in the office, they're thinking that, well, maybe their business practices. Maybe people are feeling like, well, it's too hard to get these watches. They went too high, and people are turning off. Okay, they are an independent brand also, and one thing that we've noticed in the last 3 years or so is the rise of more independent brands. You have the Journes, of course. You have Laurent Ferrier. You have Moser. You have Romain Gaultier. A lot of micro brands, and I think we talked about this on another episode about how it's easier to market your brand and cheaper to market your brand than it ever has been before. In the past, what was it? SIHH, Basel World, people fly in, they meet you, they see you. Now, with Instagram, with the rise of the internet, you post some pictures.
A little bit of creativity and a thumb, and you're good.
Exactly. You take a good picture, you have a good story, and there's guys now looking for these brands. So maybe it has to do with the competition. So people are maybe getting fed up with AP as an independent, and they're looking for another brand. I don't know. It's literally been a week.
Yeah, I will pump the brakes a little bit. Like, we're not saying it's a fire sale, right? We're not saying that they're the next Panerai.
I don't think it's coming out that way either, though.
Yeah, I just...
Is it a fire sale, Jason?
To be clear, we're seeing a hiccup, and it's we have a show, which is called The Trading Desk, where we literally talk about trends in the market, and it's a 6-day trend. So whether it's a 14-day trend and then we normalize, or it becomes something, either way, it's worth keeping an eye on, and it's worth mentioning.
Could be a couple things. So some of maybe the one dealer who I saw who across the board dropped his prices, and I know him pretty well, maybe he needs to raise cash, and he decided, all right, these are the watches I'm going to drop for that reason. It could be a singular reason, which the industry is much smaller than people think. There's probably less than 100 serious dealers. Right, we're one of the largest, but even the smaller guys have a pretty big market share because their name's out there, and it's hard to tell how big a dealer is. So, but one dealer who has maybe 50 APs can affect the market by dropping all its prices.
Sure.
So again, we don't know what's happening with AP, but it is something to look out for. I'm seeing a gentleman who calls himself Tim Masso Sunglasses. So I didn't know he had his own account. I didn't even know he had fingers, Tim Masso Sunglasses. I haven't seen him in a while. Does he wear them?
He's No, Tim Massa Sunglasses is a regular viewer. I see him on the comments
on
the chat. No, I don't know him personally, but
okay. Well, so he says BLRs are listed for $16K, which is true. He said 116-500, so ceramic Daytonas and steel are listed at $25K. I haven't seen that yet.
I don't think they're quite there. They're definitely approaching 23. for a white dial, depending on how complete and
Oh,
new.
yeah.
But 25's getting up there.
Well, so we're seeing maybe that's it too. So at $25,000, you can get a Royal Oak Chrono or a Steel Daytona. So this or that, Jason,
Speed like bonus round.
right now.
I personally do not like the Daytona, so I go AP on that.
Right. I mean, I like the Daytona
If we're
a
talking
lot,
just to keep the watch,
but you're paying double retail for the Daytona, under retail
Right.
for the Chrono, and I mean, if we're talking about horologically speaking, you get a better watch with the 26331 ST or the 26320 ST, which are the 41 Chronos. My money would be on the 39 Chrono, which is more wearable for me. But it's hard to understand what's happening now. Steel is worth more than gold right now, and if you look across the market, there's different levels of value, and it's hard to see where to spend your money.
Right.
So is AP, is this the beginning of a downturn in AP? I'd say so. If I had to bet my own money, a substantial amount of money, if I got to put up $5,000 right now, whether or not it's going to go up or down, I'd say it's still going to go up. That would be where my money goes right now. But if this lasts for another, say, month or two, then I'd be very wary.
So
about AP.
I would want to see what happens in the next 5 days to get a much clearer understanding of what's going to happen. But if I was going to bet my own money, I think what happens is now AP slows down and it becomes much more linear than it has been in the last year. Because in the last year, it's been just a rocket race to the top.
Okay.
So now I think with all the dealers closed and them going, mono brand. With launches, one of the things we didn't mention was like the 1159 affecting people's confidence in the brand, which we got a little picture up there for you.
So our first thoughts were, blah, it's disgusting. But I don't hate the watch as much as I first felt. I think the watch is okay. They can change the dial, they can salvage it, and it's not a bad watch to have in the line. So I am seeing some in regards to that. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing some comments. So Selton Photog says, they introduced the 1159 and their CEO talked down to the buyers. So people's bleh will take a lot of time to heal. So this gentleman, as a buyer, says that he feels disrespected by the CEO of AP. Maybe that's the case too.
Well, I think the chronograph is certainly a little easier to swallow than the three-hand.
It's not that bad of a watch.
But the three-hand just what happens is the three-hand highlights the dial, which is the only part I don't like about the watch. So the chronograph, I think, takes some distraction away from that.
Sure.
But whether it's people's confidence being shaken by the 1159 or some of the other releases or the business structure, I think it's only right now a slight hiccup, but worth mentioning.
Yeah.
But I do think that you're going to see a much more calm torque curve to AP coming soon.
It would have to be. So it's been straight up. So flatten out. All right. So neither of us are bearish. I'm optimistic, but I tend to be a little bit more optimistic than Jason is in general. And he thinks it's going to flatten out. So there you go. That's our assessment on AP. Another brand that we want to talk about, which sometimes hurts me to talk about, is our Italian friend Panerai. Right? So,
it depends if you're heavily vested in them.
So what you're seeing on the screen right now is the brand new Bronzo, the 968. The watch itself, separate from the market, fantastic watch. It is a bronze 389 or 1389, right? So ceramic bezel. If you haven't noticed, Panerai has fallen in love with ceramic bezel submersibles. I think it's not a bad thing. It makes the watch look fantastic. It makes it look more cutting edge, and it's very unique to this brand, right? Because the ceramic bezel on this watch looks unlike any other ceramic bezel.
Sure.
The watch itself is fantastic. But from a collector standpoint, the Bronzo has always been a watch that's been coveted. It's the watch that trades stronger than any other watch in
it's the strongest Panerai.
For a regular production piece. I mean, was now all the pre-Vendome pieces have kind of tanked. There's really no market for those watches. So the Bronzo is the one who endured. I'm scared that this Bronzo is going to hurt the market for all other Bronzos.
Well, it has to.
It can. So what I've been heard, the rumors are this. The watch is boutique only, which helps because there's no discount. It's also like a roughly $18,000 sale price. Is it worth that? I don't know. It also will be 1,000 pieces of this model. And from what I understood originally was there'll only be 1,000 pieces of this Bronzo every year. So now the correction was every year they're going to make a new Bronzo. It'll only be 1,000 pieces, and it'll be slightly different than the year before. If that's the case, now the Bronzo is no longer highly collectible.
Right.
At that point, it's hard to say what to do with Panerai from a collector standpoint. If you like to wear watches, Panerai is fantastic. Under $10,000, I love Panerai. Over 10, you got to do a lot of thinking. If you love the brand and you don't care about resale value, go for it. But if you're looking to buy watches to collect and trade, it makes it really tough. You know,
Right.
I've had multiple guys call me and saying, hey, I've been offered this Bronzo. I don't really want to wear it. I want to buy it just to see if I can sell
Right.
it. Is it worth over list? And while there are people listing them for, in the mid-20s right now, I don't know if that holds. I don't know anybody who's paid over that now. So my answer is wait and see.
Right. I think it's a slippery slope. It's if you're heavily vested in the brand. Like I feel bad for all these guys that have the all the pre-Vendomes, because that stuff's just
It's hard to say
never
you feel bad for these guys.
I mean, listen,
if you're spending your lunch money on those, then you made a mistake.
well, you shouldn't be on any watch. But so the thing is that it's now become a wearer's watch.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't know. I don't
That's
even
what it
know if
should've been
I'd
from the beginning,
like
though.
fire off 10 grand. Like I'm extremely comfortable with anything in like the $500 to $7,500 range.
Sure.
Like my 510, I haven't said, oh man, maybe I should sell my 510 before it tanks, because the thing's never going to be worth less than $3,500, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But if I owned a previous generation Bronzo, I'd be scared of this one.
Right. Well, we've seen a drop in the blue Bronzos drop for some reason, slightly unexplained. The 382s. So, like, if you're looking behind the curtain for us, I am being more conservative on 382s and 507s because of what happened to the blue Bronzo and now the release of the 968.
Right.
So, if somebody calls me, I actually had this conversation the other day. A customer bought a Bronzo from us 2013, a 382.
Right.
Paid market value for it. It was a fair sale, high 20s. He wants to know what I buy back from, and we could not make an agreement because I told him, like, listen, I can't bet on this watch in the next 90 days. So I'm going to have to be conservative, which it doesn't make sense to sell right now. So I told him to hold on to it. We have one right now that if we sell for a good market price, then we'll feel more comfortable and we'll spend more on it. But it's tough to make a hard money bet on a watch right now when you see the brands in flux. I've waffled back and forth on what Panerai is doing. At first, when I first saw those all the new editions, I was like, holy shit. Panerai is going the way of Hublot, special edition and everything. Then I saw it was actually, the selling these watches experiential.
It was like a targeted sales campaign, which made sense. And
makes sense.
Like, yeah.
And then I'm looking at the new models. I like them. They are going for the 47s, but the watch is a little thinner, so I think there might be more wearable. They're trying to have a clear divide between the lines too. So submersibles are about new technology. Radiomers are about history. So we'll see. This year, I think is gonna show us a lot about what happens with Panerai. If Panerai can shore up their models, get a good direction, and create more demand, and dealers don't have to discount the watch as much to sell it, which we're seeing that already. For a while there, Panerai was a brand that knew you could find a discount pretty easily.
Sure.
The discounts have dried up a little bit, and I'd like to see that because I like the brand and I want them to keep going. But
I mean, they got a new captain at the helm, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next 12 months with Panerai. I think it could shore up a little bit. It'll
682,
depend on,
by the way, somebody said they love it. Sorry, I interrupted you. I apologize, but unbelievable watch, fantastic watch. The 42 submersibles was the best thing they've done in the last 3 or 4 years.
We had a rose. What was the rose
684.
gold? Yeah. Josh almost lost his mind when he saw that watch. It's beautiful.
But unfortunately, now the new Bronzo looks like that watch. Oh, come on.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next couple months. I think Panerai could make a comeback. I've said it before. If they scale down how many SKUs are in the inventory, which it looks
There's
like
a lot of SKUs.
they're going to try and do.
And I'm one of the only people on the planet who knows most of the references, and I can't keep up with the new references.
Yeah.
I want to. So there's somebody named MM on our chat box who says this is, I don't know. So this is the most biased channel.
Okay. Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we are biased towards what. All right.
I feel like I'm pessimistic towards pretty much everything.
You hate everything. Oh, getting a phone call. All right. So guys, I'm not going to do that. I'm a sales guy. All right, guys. So that's our thoughts about the about AP, a little bit on Panerai. Let's pull up the poll, the this or that poll, because it was pretty close. This was like one of the most serious this or that's. No jokes. Look at that. All right, so
Still pretty close.
You know what?
Still, I think the
I'm not gonna
AP
get up
pulled
and
away
dance over
like
that. That was pretty
2
close.
points closer than it was before, if I'm not mistaken.
So
But yeah,
it's
still
pretty
pretty good.
that's right.
All right.
Still beat your ass, though.
Yeah,
You're buying
I don't know
drinks,
about-
bro. Habiki on you,
All right.
brother. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Was that a 30 minutes? All right, guys. They wanted to keep it under 30 minutes. We're right around there. Should be good for the views. What's that?
This is where you
I know,
start.
okay.
You just roll the end credits.
No, don't roll the end credits.
Yeah,
so,
just
guys,
cut 'em off.
we want you to subscribe to our channel. We're up to, 72,000 subscribers. It's unbelievable. I remember when we had 0. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. We're very, very impressed with ourselves here. Also, check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. Another season 3 of The Classroom is going to be launched when? Tomorrow morning. You can watch me talk about things that I may or may not know about, but it's a classroom. I'm the teacher, so you got to take my word for facts. Mike Michaels is on it. CQ, who else? Is John Callahan. John Callahan, all the greatest teachers, really just the greatest teachers. Classroom, it's going to be on at 7 a.m., so wake up early.
7 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know. 7 a.m.
Is that like
the classroom,
a play on? You got to
class
wake up
in
early
session.
for class?
Okay, 7 a.m., classes in session. My first class will be on Panerai, so if you want to learn about the history of Panerai,
That's basically what you just did.
no, that was the market. This is the history. This is all about why I love Panerai. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. Subscribe here. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Thanos. Jason doesn't have social media, so don't follow him. Give me a call on
we
my
blur
cell
this
phone at
out
any
if-
time. And see you next week, guys.